What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we're looking at the debut of a Transformers TCG character that has been asked about for quite a while. We're finally getting a Ratchet card. In Wave 1, people were like, yeah, Ratchet, and I was like, oh, there's no Ratchet. And then in Wave 2, people were like, we're definitely going to be getting a Ratchet now, he's one of those cool characters, and they were like, oh, no Ratchet. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Wave 3 is here. And well, it's not here, but it's going to be here soon. And we are finally getting ourselves a Ratchet. This was revealed on the official Facebook page in a really entertaining post. You should legit read it. It's awesome. What is it? It's Specialist Ratchet. What does he do? Well, if we have a look at the stats, we have got an 8-cost character with really good stats. Well, quite good stats, if you ignore the defense. So for an 8-cost character, we expect 4 attack, 12 health, 2 defense. And we have either 4 or 3 attack, which is pretty good, 14 health, which is very good, and 0 defense. The 0 defense could be a little bit of a problem. Now, to be fair, when we look at 0 defense, we can always go, ooh, erratic lightning. It lowers your defense, but who cares? Because our defense can't get any lower. So there is an option there. But generally speaking, the defense here is quite low. You can do some stuff. But here's the thing. When you've got high health, low defense, you can start playing around with stuff like Force Field. And there's a strong argument anyway that high health is better than high defense, because high defense, low health means you are at the mercy of cheeky damage, things like Bolt of Lightning, as well as Pierce. And let's not forget we got that new black battle icon coming, which adds Pierce. Okay, so we don't like the defense, but other than that, we're feeling all right. But what does it actually do? Well, weirdly enough, we've actually got a shot of Ratchet on a reprint for Medic, which was revealed in the same article. And Ratchet is all about healing. If we start in Alt Mode's got a wonderful skill. Before the game begins, you may reveal a medic from your deck and put it into your hand. That's really cool. Now, we have actually seen this very similar skill with a couple of upgrades so far. We've seen that Ultra Magnus has a rather fun little skill, whereby at the beginning of the game, when you're in Alt Mode, because you do begin in Alt Mode, you may put an Ultra Magnus armor onto it from your deck, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, we saw a very, very similar thing rather recently with Private Trailbreaker, who can get a copy of Force Field on before we even begin the game. And that, of course, is the reason why we have a reprint of Force Field with alternate art in the set. So that's kind of cool. Now, this is the first time we've seen this with an action rather than an upgrade, so you can't attach a medic, that makes no sense, but you can have it in your hand ready to go. If nothing else, it just gives you a card advantage at the beginning of the game, so you start the game with one more card in hand than your opponent. But it also means you've got a medic ready to go. Now, good news, it's actually kind of good that it has no battle icons, because generally no battle icons is bad in case you flip it while attacking or defending, but you can't flip it while attacking or defending if it's in your hand at the beginning of the game. And also, if you are playing a 40-card deck, you essentially start the game with a 39-card deck, which means that you're actually ever so slightly more likely to draw into what you want nice and early. But it also means that you've got Medic just ready to go. You can repair 2 damage from one of your characters, and as soon as your opponent does any damage whatsoever, you can just go ahead and repair it. I mean, you could do something a little bit silly, and I'm not suggesting you actually do, it's just an example. But play something like a Photon Bomb doing 2 damage to each character, knowing that you've got a Medic in hand, so that next turn you can just go ahead and heal it straight away. Or maybe play a Brainstorm, but even though you're getting Medic in your hand at the beginning of the game, yeah, you've still got to have the Brainstorm and the Photon Bomb. That's not always that likely to happen. But Medic is essentially the best healing card we've got, just in terms of pure healing against one character. That's why it has no battle icon, so starting the game with 1 is nice. But we've got an arguably better skill in bot mode. When you repair damage, this gets +1 attack until end of turn for each damage repaired. That's kind of cool. Now, one thing to note at the beginning here, if you only repair 1 damage, you go up to 4 attack, you might as well be in ult mode. You've got to get at least 2 repaired before you even begin here. But that's alright, because you've got the medic in hand, so you should be able to repair 2 damage fairly easily. And then, of course, you got an 8 cost with 5 attack, 14 health, and now we're really liking the stats. One thing that needs to be noticed about the wording here, when you repair damage, not when you repair damage from this character. What that means is it doesn't matter who you heal, healing any damage from any character will help you out with Specialist Ratchet quite nicely here. So what other healing cards should we be having a look at? Well, we do have Emergency Maintenance. Now, Emergency Maintenance is not great in the early game. You only repair 1 damage. But if you've got more star cards in your KO area than you have on the battlefield, you repair 2 more damage. So now you're repairing 3, which means you're going up to 6 attack. That's pretty gosh darn good. But I'm really kind of looking at Repair Bay here. Repair Bay is crazy good if you're playing a bunch of characters and if there's a bunch of damage on the field. Repair Bay allows you to repair 1 damage from each of your characters. Now, being an 8 cost, you're realistically looking at a 4 wide deck. You got 17 stars to play with, so that's kind of 2 6s and a 5. Realistically, that's about what we're looking at. Now look, I know technically you could go 5 wide with this. You could go for Scrapper from the Devastator deck, which is only a 4 cost. And then you could go and combine that with all of Metroplex's little buddies. There's 3 of them, they're all 4 cost. You could even take one of them out. It's probably going to be Slammer. And then pop a 5 cost in instead. I know you can go 4 wide with this, but then you're going to end up with super weak characters that are probably going to get KO'd before you can even heal anyway. But if you can go pretty wide here, you can repair 1 damage from each of them with Repair Bay, and then you've got a 4 wide deck, so you're repairing 4 damage with Repair Bay, which means that attack of 3 all of a sudden becomes an attack of 7, and now we're kind of loving this, ladies and gentlemen. This is making us pretty gosh darn happy. Of course, the big problem there is you do need to have at least 1 damage on all of your characters. Maybe the aforementioned Photon Bomb is the way we want to go. Or maybe you just wait until they're attacked. It's a slightly dodgy strategy. I'm going to be honest with you. Trying to just assume that you're going to be able to use Repair Bay every turn or even every game is not necessarily something that's always going to be able to be done. But when you can pull it off, it's going to be pretty gosh darn good. Now, in terms of designations, we've got a truck here. Truck is not great, I'm going to be honest with you. We do have cargo trailer. If you can get a few of them on, that is really good. And we do have team up tactics. Now, team up tactics is incredibly relevant here. Because the thing about team up tactics is you choose one of your characters. If it's a car, you draw 2 cards. If it's a truck, you repair 2 damage. So this is basically Medic with a blue icon, which ironically makes it better for Ratchet than the card that has Ratchet on the artwork. It's a little bit weird. But of course, you might not be playing an entirely truck deck, and if you're not, that's where Medic comes in. And really, Medic is Ratchet helping other people, not helping himself, so maybe Team Up Tactics should be better. You see where I'm going with this. It's at least quite nice healing, but trucks have not had the best support so far, unfortunately. Hopefully they'll get something else in Wave 3. And it is entirely possible, because they did not get any love in Wave 2, and we've not seen all that much from Wave 3 yet. So there is still a very good chance that trucks are going to get some love this time around. Now, it is also a specialist, and ladies and gentlemen, specialists absolutely have had some love. Specialists have got multi-tool and multi-mission gear that let you play an extra action or upgrade, which is quite nice. And we've got what I think is better than either of them, Field Communicator, which basically lets you play the top card of your deck. And these cards are actually so good that just this past week, I did a video on it, I'll pop a link in the description, we actually saw our very first ban swap parts got banned because you could basically put a multi-mission gear, a multi-tool, and a field communicator onto each of 2 specialists, and then play a swap parts, and then all 6 would trigger at the same time as they moved, and let you play 2 actions from your hand, 2 upgrades from your hand, and the top 2 cards of your deck. And that was deemed to be too gosh darn good, and made swap parts the first banned card we ever saw. So being a truck, not great at the moment, but being a specialist, you know, that's pretty gosh darned good. I like the stats here other than the defense, but honestly, if you're playing stuff like force field and healing, you can kind of mitigate the defense here. And I do like the skills. It looks like one of the themes in Wave 3 is characters that can get stuff at the beginning of the game, although weirdly enough, we've seen 3 of them and they've all been Autobots so far. That doesn't mean they will going forward, but I do find that quite an interesting trend of the cards we've seen revealed so far. This is the first time we've seen one that puts an action in your hand to begin the game, and yeah, the card does revolve around healing, although to be fair, it does make it easier to heal. But if you can get your healing off, this will become a pretty good card, and it is at the end of the day only an 8 cost. And that is not terribly expensive. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, our first ever Ratchet, and I don't think it's too bad. But I would very much like to know what you think about it. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. But please do remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Be nice, would you? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about games like Transformers, but also a whole bunch of others. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross and you've been watching Wossy Plays.